Hey aspirants, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to discuss the important points of chapter vector that contains a major part that accumulates very much part of the syllabus of JEE Mains, and it is relatively easier topics. Only limited questions are there that can be made of this chapter. So we will be discussing some questions also. Along with that, we'll be discussing main on the concepts that are used in the questions. So let us begin. This should be your last minute revision video. So first of all, the thing is zero vector. What is a zero vector? Zero vector is a vector which has magnitude absolutely it will be zero, and if magnitude is zero, so the direction we cannot talk about the direction. We can't talk about it. So this is the zero vector for you, and then important part that plays that its role is unit vector. Unit vector has the magnitude as known is 1, and it is represented as a cap, that is the vector a divided by its magnitude. This is the formula for a unit vector. It can be written as a vector is equal to magnitude of that vector and a cap. So these two things you have to memorize. You must have been memorizing it. Then another type of vector is co-initial vector. Co-initial vectors, as the name suggests, it is initiating from a same point. The initial point of the two vectors is same. Let this be b, this is b a, and this is b, this is c. So a, b and a, c are co-initial vectors. This thing you have to remember. Now let us move further and talk about some other types of vectors. So please note this. Now the third one comes the reciprocal vector. What is a reciprocal vector? It is nothing but if a vector is given that a is equal to I cap plus j cap. Here what represents I cap? I cap is the direction along x-axis and j cap is the direction unit vector along the direction y-axis. So here what will be the magnitude of this? As we know, these are the unit vector, so this will have 1 as magnitude and this will have 1 as magnitude under root of this. So under root 2 is what is the magnitude of a vector. Then b will be reciprocal vector of a vector such that 1 by under root 2 means magnitude of a is multiplied with that direction of a. So here a and b will be reciprocal vectors. So what will be the b vector actually? The b vector will look like I plus j under root 2 multiplied with 1 by under root 2, putting the value of this vector here. This will be the final thing you have to remember. This is cap. Remember to take the cap. So what is the next thing you have to see is like vector. Please note this all and let's move on to the next thing. Now we see there are two kinds of vectors, that are like vector and unlike vectors. What is the like vector? Like vector means the magnitude, this vector and this vector, these both will be like vector when their magnitude is same as well as direction is same. But if we see unlike vectors, absolutely their magnitude will be magnitude same, but direction opposite. This is the condition that is applied in like vector and unlike vector. So moving on to the further thing, that is now the collinearity. Are they collinear? Yes, they both are collinear, but one has the direction opposite to other. So this is the story of like and unlike vector. And the collinear vector, for collinear vector, let me write it here, another point, collinear vectors. What are collinear vectors? Nothing but it should be in the same direction or in opposite direction. Means a collinear vector is of two types, like unlike and like. So here these will be perpendicular to each other. No, sorry, these are parallel to each other. So what will the value of theta? Theta will be 0, or theta can be equal to 180 degree. So here the condition of collinearity, its condition for this is that A cross B should be 0, because A cross B means magnitude of A magnitude of B multiplied with the sine theta, and theta is 0 in this case, or 180. So sine theta or sine 180 is equal to 0. So condition is this, if these two are the collinear vectors. Let's move further. Now let's check out two important laws of the vector addition. First one is triangle law, and the second law is parallelogram law. Parallelogram law is just the extension of triangle law. Let me show you. Like, this is a vector, and there is another vector like this. So the condition of the vector addition for these two laws is that the tail must join with the head, then only the condition of addition will be followed. Like here, it is the head of one and the tail of this thing, this point. So it will follow the vector addition for the triangle law. So we will join the tail of the first one with the head of the second one. So this value will be equal to, if this vector is A, this is B, then this will be equal to A vector plus B vector. So this is the triangle law, and the extension is the parallelogram law. This is nothing but the same thing, because we can draw this vector parallelly here. So this will be equal to A, and this vector is B. If we draw opposite of this here, so it will become what? It will become minus B. Why we have done this thing? We have done here minus B and opposite sign of this because the tail of both is joining. In this case, there is the head and tail of second one, but in this case, these are both the tails. So we will just extend this towards this, and here now this is the opposite direction of B, so we have written minus B. We have to add them in a following way, that this longer diagonal will have the value A plus B, and this one, the shorter one, will have the value A minus B. So this is nothing but the parallelogram law. Hope you like this thing. And if there is, remember the thing, that if the angle between A and B is going to be acute, then A plus B will be the longer diagonal, and if A and B angle is obtuse, then A minus B is the longer diagonal. Remember this thing also. Let's move further. Here in this case all things are given. Please have a look at this, and we have to find the beta angle. So the formula is for this is tan beta is equal to this thing. So remember this formula also if in this situation is given. The another thing is that if this is something like AB vector, this is some AC vector, and this is AD vector, and it is dividing these two into equal, means this is bisecting the angle. So if AB magnitude is equal to AC magnitude, then AD will be angle bisector in this case. Okay, so let's move on to the next point. The next point is of collinearity. Of collinearity, we have discussed earlier what is collinearity. We will just see the conditions. So here I will tell you some kind of tricks that in collinearity what you have to see. If two vectors are given or if 3 points are given, then we have to think of two vectors. Okay, so if 3 points are given in any question, then you how to find that these are collinear or not. You have to write AB is equal to vector actor AB is equal to lambda times vector BC in case if it is parallel. Okay, so let's move further. Note this. Now let us quickly discuss the story of dot product. Dot product is nothing just like A dot B is equal to magnitude of A magnitude of B into cos theta, where theta is the angle between the vectors, and then the angle between the two angles, the angle between these two vectors will be A dot B. Vector A means magnitude of A multiplied by magnitude of B. It is nothing but we just have bring this thing here, so we will get cos theta. So now another thing, if you are given in the question like A is given x1 I cap plus y1 j cap plus z1 k cap, B is given some this thing, so what will be the A dot B? A dot B will be x1 x2 plus y1 y2 plus z1 z2. This will be the value, and this value will be equal to 0 if A dot B is equal to 0 if A is perpendicular to B, because theta will be 90 and cos theta is 0, cos 90 will be 0. So A dot B will be non-zero when other conditions are there, means theta is not equal to 90. So moving further to scalar product now. Now various points to remember for dot product. Some properties are that A dot B will be greater than 0. If A dot B is greater than 0, then here the theta will be an acute angle. If it is greater than 0, it is less than 0, then obtuse angle. If it is 90 degree, then 0. And this is the condition you have to remember, that A dot A is equal to modulus of A square, and modulus of A vector A plus vector B whole square is equal to vector A means modulus of A square plus modulus of B square plus 2A dot B. Then projection. What is the projection? Projection is nothing but if you have drawn some vector like A, this is B, this is some theta angle between them. Okay, then this is vector A, this is vector B. The projection means if we make a 90 degree here and bring this whole over this thing, then what will be this? We know that the component along the x-axis of A will be what? It will be equal to the modulus into cos theta, this angle, because this is what, if we use the like perpendicular by base, hypotenuse by perpendicular, perpendicular by hypotenuse, these all things, then we will get this x on x-axis the projection will be a cos theta. From the original formula of dot product, we can get a cos theta is equal to the vector A dot B divided by modulus of B. So this is a opposite thing or vice versa will be done in case B on A is asked.